Hey everybody, welcome back to My Green Pets. I'm William Green, and it's been a while, it's been a month since our last update. And if you'll remember last time I didn't realize how sad I sounded, but you guys were quick to let me know, William, you sound so sad, what's wrong? You'll be fine, don't worry. So first of all, I just want to thank you guys for being my support group, for the Sad People Anonymous. I guess I just had the plants weren't looking that great, and it's just kind of overwhelming, when you have other stresses in your life, and on top of that, your plants don't look good. So, but I am very, very happy to show you the plants today, because here, after a month of warm weather and sunshine and rain, I gotta say the plants are looking awesome. So let's jump right in there and let's see what's going on. First plant we're going to start out with today is this Brassia New Start, and if you guys remember, you saw it in bloom a few months ago and it was all kind of as one big plant, but I actually was really unhappy with the way the leaves had these really horrible spots, and I divided the plant and I found that it did appear to be a purple ring around the rhizome of the plant, which would indicate some type of fungal infection. So I did split the plant up into 3. As you can see, here they are, 1, 2, and 3 down here, and they are growing. The new growths do have roots, and they seem to be growing all right. The only thing is, look at this new growth. Look right here. Look at that. You see this? Spots. So if this is, once again, this disease that it seems to have, this spotting, I don't know, but if that's coming up on the new growth, then that's kind of disappointing, really. But I don't know, I'm going to go ahead and let them grow out and see if they look any better, but we'll see. But they are growing at least. This is a Nepenthes that was given to me a couple months ago, and it's got new growth coming out on it, and it's also got a little pitcher forming down there where you can see at the tip of the pencil. There's a new pitcher forming, so that's nice, because this is a little one. It will get big eventually, but it's I'm not very knowledgeable on growing Nepenthes. I've had them before, but I haven't had a lot of different varieties, so it's going to be exciting to see how this little guy does, and it looks like he's growing okay. As far as the Phalaenopsis go, most of you guys know that they're pretty forgiving plants. They've been hybridized and developed so much that they're very tough. This is an actual species. This is Maxillariella, and it's got a new growth poking out, which we didn't see last time. So that's really good. These are the old leaves, and they have kind of this, I don't know, pinkish reddish cast to them. They don't look really super healthy. This one looks okay, but I'm very happy that this new leaf is coming out. And it's also got a lot of root growth going on, and that's also encouraging. Root growth is good. Just looking at the other phals, we see new growth on a lot of them here. This one's actually, because of the cold spell in May that hit these plants and had them looking so bad in the last update, it actually spurred a couple of the phals to spike. So this is my big white one, and this one's going to be blooming out, I guess, soon. This one's also got a spike on it. Just new growth on all of them. That's all really good to see. This is the it's like a purple splotchy one. It's got nice buds about to open up on it. And then this is my little mini phal down here, and it has put out some new growth as well, and it's also got some new roots. You can see in there some new roots coming out. So the phals are looking okay. I have a couple of Oncidiums. This is Speckled Spire, and it has not bloomed in a long time, but it is putting out lots of new growth. So there's some new growth coming out right there, this one. And then there's a new one back here coming out. I don't poke it with the pencil. And then this is a new growth, and then this is the most recently grown pseudobulb, but it has not produced a spike. So I don't know if this one will spike, or maybe it'll wait until another pseudobulb has grown. This is my other Oncidium. This is Oncidium maculatum. It's a species, and it produced this spike that just looks really weak. I don't think it ended up flowering at all, and it is producing a new growth, so that's a good sign. We got new growth over here. Now the old bulbs do not look great. They were damaged by hail last year in May, and the hail actually, you know, beat up the pseudobulbs. But then we've also got some of this discoloration, and I've seen this on several of my other plants, and I don't know what it is, but I think it's some type of fungal infection. It's not good. It's not good at all. But in spite of that, the plant does have some new roots. You can see new roots growing out here, and then of course with the new growth, there's new roots coming out over here. So even though this plant did not bloom this winter, which I was certain that it would, since the newest growth was bigger than the last and pretty robust, I'm hoping that whatever set it back last year will pass, and that we can look forward to some blooms on this plant. Right now I just want this growth to come out. I want it to be as big as this growth or bigger, and I just want the leaves to come out healthy on it. This is my only Zygopetalum. This is Bright Imagination, and it bloomed 2 years ago, well, I guess a year and a half ago in January. January 2016, so it's been a while. For many months it just looked like bulbs. There was no growth on it, but then a couple months ago it started putting out this new growth, and in spite of the heat, and it is warm outside today, guys, it's about 32 degrees C, and we're at about 80% humidity, so it's very warm and humid outside. And these are typically cool growing plants, and you can see the blackening of the leaves. It does not like the heat, but as long as the nights are cool, which they have been cool-ish, you know, high, you know, maybe 19, 20 degrees Celsius, so it seems to still be growing. I'm sure it would like cooler temperatures, but it's not going to get them, so we'll just have to wait and see if this thing is able to pull through and grow out. Alright, now for some excitement. Let's get into the Bulbophyllums. You know that this is one of my favorite families of orchids, the Bulbophyllums. And here is one. This is Bulbophyllum antenniferum. It bloomed for us in the winter. Let's see if we can focus here. And it is blooming for us again. Isn't this lovely? It looks like a little mouth, like a little beak. And it's got these fenestrations on the top that I believe that the light in there attracts insects. These are all kind of things that I think, not necessarily things that I know. Just things that I've kind of maybe read here and there. But anyway, this is my smallest Bulbophyllum, and it's putting on a new growth there, and it just, of course it's in bloom, and then it's got a new spike forming down here. Can you see it? Right down there. There it is. And so that will come out and bloom in the next couple months or so. So I'm happy. This one is good. This is Bulbophyllum medusae, and it's my biggest Bulbophyllum. You can see I can barely get it all in the shot here, in the frame. I've had this plant for 3 years now. I got it in March 2014, and when I first got it, it had I think it had around 10 bulbs on it, and every year it's just put on exponentially more. So we've got lots of bulbs on it this year. Hopefully those will be blooming in the fall, as it has done in the past. Let's move over here, and this is what I'm really excited about. If you've been following my channel, you know that this plant has been giving me fits for the past few years because it would produce more and more bulbs. You can see it's got lots of lovely bulbs in there, but if you also look, it's got something that doesn't quite look like a bulb. Look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very happy to tell you that my Bulbophyllum echinolabium is in spike. And not just one, it's got two. There are other growths poking out. You can see down there's one, and then around here there are a couple more. Whoops, let's get in there. Yeah, there's a couple more, but I think that those are leaves. You can tell that they're leaves because of how fat they are. You see how round, see how round and fat they are down here? And if you compare that to the spike, you can see that the spike is long and skinny. It starts out looking like a growth, but then it's got this kind of telescopic thing going on, and you can tell it's not a new growth. I hope. it'd be embarrassing if I told you all this and then it ended up not being a flower spike. But I'm going to go ahead and say, you know what, this thing has got 2 flower spikes on it, and I am absolutely ecstatic. I've actually been away several weeks, and I had a plant sitter watching my plants for me, and you're going to get to know him a bit later on because I'm going to show you his plant collection. We're going to talk about him a little bit. But he was kind of watching my plants, and he was sending me pictures of them while I was away, but I didn't get any pictures of this one, so that when I came home this was a total surprise. So I am super excited about this. My other 2 Bulbophyllums are okay. This is rufinum, and it has put on 2 new growth, and it looks like it's going to put on some more growth. You can see down there a little thingy sticking up. So that'll be good. Actually, it's got a 3rd growth coming up over here too, so that's good. This was just a piece of a plant that was given to me by Marilyn Ledoux of Windy Hill Orchids. I have bought several plants from her, and so she gave me a piece of this one. And you guys saw it bloom last fall. It's got long arching inflorescences. They just kind of come down here, and they've got lots of little flowers all over them. Right next to it we have Bulbophyllum Lovely Elizabeth. This is a hybrid, and it's got 3 new growths on it, which is super exciting because each of these new growths has the potential to bloom in the fall once they are fully developed. And of course I really like this one because it's got this beautiful bed of moss that has sprung up. And I don't know why. I didn't do anything different to this plant that I know of. It just kind of grew some moss, so it's very nice. Now, right next to this one we have another Nepenthes. This was a gift. Actually, a friend gave me this on my birthday about a month ago, and it kind of had gotten sunburned, but the plant has recovered nicely, and it's putting out lots of new growths. And maybe the plant will end up being more robust because it kind of was forced to kind of put out some new growth. So that one is going to be okay. Moving over to the back of this shade house, we can see Maxillariella tenuifolia, or Max 10, or the coconut orchid. And it is bursting with blooms. Look at all the flowers. Look at this guy. A month ago, I didn't even know if this thing was going to bloom at all. I was freaking out, you know, I was really upset. It had lots of yellow leaves, did not look good, and I was like, wow, really? But look at this. I mean, this has got so many flowers on it that I haven't even bothered to try to count them all. But when you stand near the plant, you just get this wonderful fragrance of, you know, they say it smells like coconut, but I've also heard it described as smelling like a box of crayons. It definitely has some type of a sweet fragrance, but it's more than just coconut for sure. Anyway, this plant's looking really nice, and I'm super happy that it decided to bloom out of nowhere. All right, if we come over to the Catasetum types, I've only got 2. This is Cycnodes Wine Delight, and it has really started to fatten up its pseudobulb for this year, and it does look like it's going to be slightly bigger than last year's pseudobulb. I'm not sure. What do you guys think? Maybe slightly bigger, maybe the same size. But anyway, I'm okay with it. It got such a rough start this year. As soon as I brought everything out, they started to have problems, you know, with the temperature change and bugs eating them and stuff. So I am really just kind of happy that it's still alive. The roots don't look fantastic, but they are growing. There are some green root tips down here. So all in all, not 100%, but it's okay, and I would imagine that it most likely will bloom in the fall. This is my other Catasetum type, Mormodia Jumbo World, and last time we saw it, it had 2 little growths popping out, and those 2 have put out lots of leaves, and really surprisingly, the leaves look pretty good. They've got a couple spots on them, but yeah, they look okay. They could be bigger. These growths could be bigger, but you know, I'm still kind of learning with Catasetum types, trying to do my best with them. I think that the sphagnum mix, I mean, this is just pure sphagnum moss that they're in. It might be a little too suffocating for the roots, maybe. The roots don't look fantastic. So I might, a couple years ago I had this potted in bark and it did much better, so maybe I should go back to the bark. I was just thinking that the sphagnum would keep it from drying out so fast, but anyway, I think we can still look forward to some blooms on it this year, but I don't think it'll be as nice as it was last year. Okay, let's move on to my Cattleya types. Well, really only have two types. All of these that you see here and down here as well, these are Cattleya rex, and these are native to Peru, and they have lovely, lovely white flowers with rainbow-colored lips. And of course, none of these have bloomed yet, being seedlings, but some of them are getting close. Some of them are getting some big bulbs on them, and I might be audacious enough to think that next year I could possibly expect this one, maybe this one back here, to be big enough to bloom, but we'll see. The journey of growing these guys from this size to this size has been really rewarding. It's been about a 3-year process, and it's just, I've learned so much about just how seedlings grow and how Cattleyas grow in general. So, you know, whenever these guys decide to bloom, it's just going to be so nice. Can you imagine all of these in bloom at once? Well, it's going to be nice. Next to them on the same shelf I have this Neofinetia or Vanda falcata, and this is a Japanese wind orchid, and normally they should be in bloom about this time of year, but for whatever reason this one has not bloomed this year. It's put on lots of new growth, it's gotten bigger, but it didn't bloom at all, and I wonder if it's just late, like if I peek in here if I'm gonna find some little buds, but I don't see anything. And that always makes me worry. It makes me wonder, am I doing something wrong? And it does have spots on leaves, like on the leaves like this. And I asked some Neofinetia, some Fukidan or Vanda. Basically, I asked some people that are experts on this plant, or very familiar with this plant anyway. I asked them, hey, why does my plant have all these red spots on it? And they said it was too much light. And I said, well, really? Too much light? Okay. So I've left it out here, and the new growths also have those spots on them, so I figure, well, if it's a little bit too much light, the plant might be a little bit stressed out. Maybe it's too stressed to bloom, so maybe I should move it. Maybe I'll move it into a shadier spot. Let's put it down here. Let's see if it does any better down here. I don't know, we'll see. One more Cattleya type that I have is this Brassocatanthe Little Mermaid, and it has put out a new growth this year. You can see here, and it seems to be going according to, you know, it seems to be growing the same way that it has the past 2 years, and if it does, then that means we can expect blooms on this in October. And I'm happy because also there's a lot of new root growth down here. It's always a good sign. Root growth, in a way, makes me happier than leaf growth because, I don't know, I feel like roots are very, very important. So that's Brassocatanthe Little Mermaid, and hopefully she'll be blooming with more flowers this year than she has in the past. Usually she has about 4 flowers. Of course, I have a few Vandas. The one over here under the shade cloth is allowed to be under the shade cloth with the other orchids because it has tested virus free. However, the other 3 Vandas that I have tested positive for the Cymbidium mosaic virus, and I'm just a little concerned about that being transmitted to my other plants, so I keep them separated under a Rose of Sharon tree, which we're going to go visit in a second. But this is a Vanda that's been grown. It's just a Lowe's bag baby. Actually, I think I got it at Home Depot, and it, you know, it was a seedling, and I guess it still is a seedling. But I'm hoping it's starting to get that kind of adult look to it. You know, the leaves are big and hardy, so if not this year, maybe next year we can hope to find a flower on this plant. And last but not least, we have got the other 3 Vandas. Like I said, these have got orchid virus in their systems, and there's no getting that out, so I've just got to kind of keep them separated. But they still grow quite well, and so I'm going to keep them, even if they are infected. And this is Vanda Pachara Delight. As you guys have known, this is the big one, the famous monster Vanda. She's been cut down. I did take off several of her largest missed growths just because the thing was just getting too big. So you can see kind of the remnants of those that have been cut off. Cut those off about a month and a half ago. But we've got some buds, which is great. We've got a couple up here that are getting ready to open up. And that'll be a welcome sight. It's been several months since we've seen her in bloom. And I think it's going to look really nice just kind of popping out here behind this bush. Alrighty, and last but not least, we have my favorite table, the path table. These are all my slipper orchids kind of crammed into one space, and they seem to be doing alright. Everybody is growing, everybody's got new growth. Just having a look over here. This is my largest one. This is the Path Prime Child that was awarded last year. Yes, I know I mention it all the time. Yes, I'm proud of it. But we've got a... Wait, where's my pencil? We've got a new growth down there popping up. You see it? Right there. But however, no flower. Last year this plant was in bloom at this time. But this year, not so much. I'm expecting a flower spike to be coming out of here anytime now. But it's interesting, some of the plants that I thought were kind of regular bloomers have not bloomed this year, or at least not bloomed on time or when I expected them to, so don't know. This one's not looking too hot. This is a hybrid Colosan by Angel Hair. The old growth is rotting. There's no question about that. It's not good at all. But it does have a new growth popping out of it, and I'm hoping that this new growth will continue and the plant will live. We will see. Speaking of rot, I have a couple plants that are typical. Well, I've had a couple plants that I've had problems with rot, and one of them is this Phragmipedium grande here. And it's putting out lots of new roots. This new growth is maturing nicely, and since it's been outside for the past 4 weeks or so, it seems to be doing okay. But I'm really watching out down here, because this is where rot always starts on this plant. This plant is notorious. This old growth rotted off. The last one before it rotted off. This one's, you know, got problems. It's had some rot on this part before, so I'm just watching it carefully. I don't see any rot right now, but I just feel like it could pop up at any moment, and I think it has to do with heat. When the temperature gets real warm, I think it's more prone to rotting. That's my thought anyway. Let's see. Here's Michael Kopovich. You saw him several times earlier this year. And I did not pollinate this flower. However, it looks like this seed pod it's staying green, which means maybe it was pollinated. I don't know how that happened, but I'm not going to let this plant make the seed pod. It's still a small plant. It's still kind of weak, you know. It's got a new growth coming up here. But I don't want it to put any energy into this, you know. I think it's kind of unnecessary, so I'm going to chop this spike off here pretty soon. The only other plant that I've had with issues that having to do with rot is this one. This, and this. This is all half Odette's Vision, and it obviously when I got it, it was just one little plant, but then it's grown, and I've kind of split it into 3. And every year, I tell you, every year I have problems with this plant rotting. And once again, same things happened this year. I looked down here yesterday and I saw this, see that discoloration there? Is it in focus? See that? And that's rot. Now, you saw what I did last year. I actually just left it alone, and somehow the plant was able to kind of overcome the rot on its own. It took out a few leaves and then it just stopped. So you know what, I repotted this plant into a little basket so that it'll dry out faster. Lots of nice green moss in there. And I'm hoping that it will be able to overcome it. I'm not going to do anything to it. Hopefully the other 2 won't start rotting as well. This one, it always, the tips of the leaves always look like they're going to rot, but then they stop. So I don't know if this has to do with, I don't know what that has to do with. But this one, it constantly does this. Don't know why. This new leaf looks okay, but give it some time and it will probably do the same thing. I don't quite know why. But it's got a new growth here, and it's got a new growth coming out down there as well. So I figure if I've got 3, I can afford to be a little bit, you know, take a few risks with it and maybe figure out what's causing this rot. Once again, I think it has to do with temperature change and heat, but I just can't accept that, you know, some of them are doing okay while others are rotting. This doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm trying to figure all that out. One more, we've got a multiflora over here. This is Belle Royale, and it's got a new growth popping out down here, which I'm very happy to see. And then of course there's another growth there, but man, this thing is slow, super slow to grow. So I was kind of hoping that we would see a bloom spike poking out of here, and we may see that before the summer's up, but maybe not. All in all, I'm pretty happy with the way everything looks. It's so much better than last time. Oh, there's one more plant that I wanted to look at. We'll save it for last because it's really kind of perplexing me. Here, I brought it out from underneath the shade tent so that you could see it better. This is Stanhopea oculata. And when I got this plant, it grew like crazy. It put out all kinds of new bulbs, new leaves constantly. But it has not put out a new growth for 7 or 8 months. And its leaves just keep dropping off. Look, you can see this one's turning yellow, and I expect this to turn completely yellow and fall off in the next month or so. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. It just has stopped completely. Sorry, I moved it over here because my neighbor's mowing his lawn, you couldn't hear. But yeah, I've got it potted in sphagnum, just pure sphagnum. And I thought that having it in sphagnum in a basket would be perfect because it would give the roots, you know, it would give the roots air, but at the same time they'd have plenty of moisture. But look at this discoloration on the pseudobulb. Something is going on here. There's something in this plant infecting it, doing something to it. I don't know. I really don't know. So I think, you know, as is the usual course of action with orchids, I think what I might do is just repot it. When I repot it, I'm going to take it apart, look at the roots, and see, you know, is there something going on? I do not know what is holding this plant back, but it, you know, Stanhopeas are such amazing orchids. I really want this plant to recover and do well. So if anyone's got any Stanhopea advice, I'd be happy to hear what you have to say. Well guys, that's the collection in a nutshell. This is July the 14th. So it's a 14 de Juillet. So happy 14 de Juillet to all you Frenchies out there, and everyone else. Hope your summer's going well. And I'll be looking, please look forward to an update coming up very soon. I went to a very interesting garden last week. It's called the Huntington Botanical Garden. It's in Los Angeles. It is immaculate, it is gorgeous, and I snuck in there and took some videos of their slipper orchid collection as well as some other things. So that's going to be coming up soon. Stay tuned. I'm William Green. These are my green pets. I'm so glad that you decided to hang out with me today, and I'll see you next time.